I'm just gonna say it. My all-time favorite Transformers show is Transformers Animated. It was one of the main shows that was on the air while I was growing up, getting into the Transformers fandom. It came out right after the movie, so of course it was a big deal for me as a young Transformers fan. And all of the toys from that show were just absolutely amazing in their own right, each and every way. And I could not be more excited when Hasbro announced that in Transformers Legacy, they were going to finally start giving us some animated updates. And who better than to be their first animated update than our boy Prowl. On today's deceptibot9 reviews, let's take a look at Transformers Legacy Evolution Animated Universe Prowl. How's it going, everyone? deceptibot9 here, and thank you as always for joining me here on the channel. Now, before we get too far into the review, I'd like to ask, if you like what you see, go ahead, leave me a like. Plus, if you want to see all the future content that I've got planned, go ahead, subscribe as well. It does really truly mean a lot to me. We're on the road to 1,000. Let's go ahead and hit it. And if you want to follow me anywhere else on the internet, you can find all my social links down below. Alright, enough babble. Let's go ahead and take a look at Legacy Evolution Prowl. Alright, and here is a closer look at Legacy Animated Prowl in all of his glory. And I have to say, guys, I am so in love with this figure. I think he's absolutely tremendous. And while he doesn't have the exact proportions and, you know, art style of animated Prowl, he has a lot of the design elements and things that are evocative of the character. That is just really nice to see, because especially with like some of the Prime characters got really screwed over in that regard. How they look, you know, a little more G1-icized, but it turns out that, you know, like Bulkhead, who I love the Bulkhead figure, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't really look like Prime Universe Bulkhead. He just kind of looks like a generic sort of generation style Bulkhead. Whereas you look at this guy and you know that this is from Animated, even though he doesn't have the same style and proportions and all that stuff. It's all here. All of the tellings of Animated Prowl are here, and I freaking love it. As a child of Animated, this makes me so happy. Enough rambling off the top. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at those details. Alright, coming up first here, we'll take a look at the head sculpt, which upon initial pictures and reveals of him was probably my least favorite aspect of the figure, and I will say it has grown on me, but I do wish they had done something a little bit different with the head. I think overall it's a really nice looking head. I just want it to feel a little more Animated Prowl-esque. But it's got a lot of the design elements are there. You know, it's got the crest up here at the top. He's got the blue eye goggle visor. He even does have his little chin strap, even though his chin is not as long as it was in the show. But it is a nice looking head sculpt. I just wish it had done slightly differently with it, but I'm not going to complain all that much. Coming down here, the front, his chest is, of course, the front of the bike, which looks really nice. We got some gold paint with a little rivet detail, some clear plastic there. Nice, beautiful Autobot logo there on the tummy. The arms, we see this sort of gold little chevron logos there. Same thing on the sides of the arms there with some molded, you know, kind of angles going on. Not a lot of detail per se, but they do have, you know, some molded angles and stuff going on. We got the light bar here on this side. This side's got the red. This side's got the blue, just like the original. On the back, these are sort of his I don't know what to call them. They're wings, I guess. So his wings exist here. They do have the handlebars, though, sticking up here at the top, which looks kind of weird from the front sometimes. I don't mind it all that much, though, and it provides for a bit of cool transformation. We'll get there when we get there. We got some nice silver sort of vent grill pieces here with the gold trim on the wings, and coming to the back, there's a little gas cap with the gold, which is, you know, where they were in the original, which is awesome. Coming down to the legs, I kind of do like, you know, he's a little stumpier than his original model, but I do kind of look like how they kind of look like cargo khaki pants. I think that's a really fun design choice for someone who is a cop. Moving down to the legs, of course, we've got the wheels. Here's what the wheel looks like without the Ninja Star plugged into it. So it's got, you know, the sort of Ninja Star detail in there anyway, which is really cool, but it does leave a little bit of a gap compared to the other side. There's the inside. It's just got, you know, some gold detail there. Here's what it looks like when you put the Ninja Star in the wheel. It fills it out a little bit more. It is a little bit bigger and bulkier than this side, side, so either way it's not really going to be consistent with how the leg looks, but oh well, what can you do? Moving down to the feet, he's kind of got like some boot style detail going on here. Nice little gold trim there on the feet. So Prowl looks really, really nice. I mean, again, you can tell that he is from animated, but he is sort of updated into a generation style, which I don't mind. I actually really, really like it, and I've just overall really like this guy. Now, I will say, we'll talk about it now that we're here. My least favorite part about this figure probably is how they did the Ninja Star. Now, the Ninja Star looks great. It looks really cool when it's all built up here in its Ninja Star mode. And of course, his hand is molded on one side, is molded to be able to hold the Ninja Star, and the other hand, this is all kind of part of my grievance. The other hand is molded to hold a 5mm port, style weapon or blast effect or whatever. So, for example, pulling an Origin Bumblebee's gun here, if you wanted to give him a gun, you sure could. And now, I do think that that is neat. I do like that they give you the option to be able to have him hold something like that, but the downside is it makes it incredibly difficult for him to hold the other Ninja Star, because the Ninja Star is sort of too thin. And you can see my other problem here in just a second. You can get him to rest in it, but he doesn't really hold it very tight unless you kind of try to wiggle it between his fingers there, but that doesn't always work because you'll end up pulling it through. So ultimately, he can only really hold one at a time. You can get him to hold both. I wish both hands had been molded to be able to hold the Ninja Stars, because while I do like that you can make him hold a weapon or something, like a bigger sword or something over there if you wanted to, I just want him to be able to hold both his Ninja Stars, damn it. The other problem with these is just the way that they are made. So the way that they work, the gimmick that they have is you're supposed to twist the top part, and it's supposed to collapse all the way. What ends up happening is a lot of the time they're on these rivets that may not be necessarily lined up with the interior gear. Now, when it works really well. Like you saw that. It was all folded up. It opened up all cleanly and all smoothly. And it closes up all cleanly, well, for the most part, all cleanly and all smoothly. So if you get them lined up on their gear that they're supposed to be on and they fit and it works, it's great. But if you move them a little bit the wrong way, like one of them gets pulled up like this, then the gear gets kind of jammed and it won't necessarily work as well, or you're going to end up with it being stuck. So I just wish they had designed the Ninja Star a little bit better. I mean, it looks nice overall here on both sides, and of course it does just plug in to the leg just like the original figure, but I just wish there was a little bit smoother of a process to open and close those without having to worry about those gears getting stuck all the time. Prowl's a cyber ninja, so he needs to be able to be posable, so let's talk about his articulation. It's actually really, really good. You can get a lot of good poses out of this guy, and the weight distribution on him as well is good enough that you can get him balancing in a lot of good sort of ninja action-y poses. So head up here is on a ball joint, which gets it going. It's super good range up here. It gets him tilting side to side. Go and look up all the way that far, which is incredible. Can look down that much. Gets blocked by this panel down here. And of course, can spin all the way around if you get it going up, or just to the neck if it's down there. Arms go all the way around here. They go up that far. They swivel at the bicep. They bend at the elbow all the way up to 90. Wrists do not have any articulation. There's no swivel or anything, just due to transformation. They have a hinge right there. Waist rotates all the way around at the waist, plus, due to transformation, he's got a little bit of an ab crunch, which is so great. I love seeing that on Transformer figures. It's so cool whenever we can get an ab crunch out of these guys, because I feel like that's not something we see so often on Transformers. Legs go forward this far. Well, actually, legs go forward that far. That's great. Legs go backwards just as far, which is awesome. And of course, being a cyber ninja means he can definitely do the full split with ease, no problems there. Of course he can. We love that for Prowl. Now here's where it gets a little bit fun. The main knee joint is right here up by the shin. Bends at a little bit over 90. It swivels right here at the thigh. Don't know if I mentioned that. But due to the way transformation is with these ankles, is you can pivot the ankles sort of there to use them as sort of a secondary knee if you want to get, you know, some sort of major bend out of it. It can look a little weird, but, you know, if you want to use that as a secondary knee joint, you certainly could. So he can be kind of double knees. And the feet here are on a ball joint, so you can get them, you know, kind of toeing all the way out. You can get them going up. Then they, by nature, have a little bit of swivel there, and you could rotate them all the way around kind of thing if you wanted to. So Prowl is very, very posable. I love what you're able to get out of this guy. I threw up some poses or some pictures of him on my Instagram not too long ago. If you want to go check out some of those, and just all over the internet, I've seen people absolutely just being incredible with their poses on this guy. So let's see how he looks with some other figures and fits into your collection, shall we? Of course, starting off, here is the newest version with our original animated Prowl, who, yes, I love. This is one of my favorite figures from animated, and he's still a fantastic figure, but it's so nice also having a newer generations version of it as well. Here he is with Prime Universe RC from the first round of Legacy, so we can see kind of two different interpretations of motorcycle bots, which I think is really, really neat. And I don't actually, a lot of people hate this figure. I don't. I actually quite like her. Here is Prowl with another animated universe comparison. One of my absolute favorites, Lockdown, to see how this Prowl might fare against Lockdown, and I don't know that it's going to be looking too good. This is a big, beefy boy, but again, Prowl's a cyber ninja, so we'll see. And just to see, here is animated Prowl with Earthrise Optimus Prime, and they honestly still look really nice together. I actually kind of like that. I really don't mind that at all. He's definitely going to be my main Prowl on the shelf. Siege Prowl can get out of here. Alright, enough about robot mode. Let's go ahead and get him transformed up into his motorcycle mode. Prowl's transformation here is really fun and really cool. There's a lot of moments in it, and overall is just really evocative of the original transformation scheme. There are some things here that are, you know, exactly the same, sort of like the way the arms are folding back here, but there's a lot of things that are updated and modernized for the modern generation style, like the way the wings fold out and around with the cockpit folding up above, and the way the legs are kind of scrunching up here. Those are all kind of based on the original scheme, but modernized and updated. Although I will say there is a little bit of struggle occasionally when you're trying to connect everything here at the bottom. The tabs on the feet going into the wings don't always line up if you don't have everything else lined up properly, and the foot on the front fits in really nice and snug, but can be a little bit of a pain to line up. But once you get everything all set and squared away, it comes together really nicely. Alright, and here's Legacy animated Prowl transformed up into his motorcycle mode. It's looking great. Well, it looks for the I like it. I like the way it looks. I know some people have problems with some gappage issues here and there, and there is one really that bothers me a whole lot, and it's kind of hard to stay. This back section doesn't like to stay tabbed in there. I think that it's just not conducive for that, but it feels nice and it looks nice in a lot of the positions you're going to be putting it in. You'll just notice a few sort of major gaps. Like here, there's a big gap right there. There's a big gap right there. This is the one that bothers me the most. The seat doesn't even reach the back. That's the one that bothers me. I don't really care about the ones on the side, but you know what? It is what it is. We have a nice looking little animated Prowl in a bike form, so let's go ahead and take a closer look at some of the details on the bike. We've seen all of this in robot mode, but now some of it sort of makes a little bit more sense. Alright, coming up at the front here, which was the tummy and the chest, is now the front part of the bike. Obviously, it looks great. We can see now he's got some headlights here that are kind of exposed. They were there obviously on the front, but now you can see them a little bit better. Handlebars have made their way from the back to here, the back of the robot to here the front of the vehicle, which looks nice. I really like the way the foot folds up here to complete this front look and sort of provides that little gold trim there. I think that's a really neat bit of transformation. I like that they gave the legs, they made each of the legs different in terms of the bike pieces. So like this one's got the sort of front little guard that goes over the front of the wheel, which I think is really cool. Whereas this one still has that gray piece, but it's more meant to be the back part of the, or whatever this part of the wheel well is called. It's just, they're built differently, and I like that. It makes it look more like an actual bike, which is really cool. And of course we get the wheels here, which have their little tread detail, and they do of course roll. He does roll pretty dang well. Of course he won't stand up. If I try to push him, he'll just kind of topple over. Well, he won't, because I have the kickstand on him now. See, so here's the problem with the Ninja Star. I rolled it a little bit, and like now it activated the gear, so now the freaking Ninja Star coming out on the wheel. So I gotta come in here and fix that. Gotta rotate it back, make sure it's fine. See, and now it wasn't working. It wasn't cooperating with me, wanting it to get jammed. But now, see, it's jammed. It's stuck. It won't turn because the gears are off the track or whatever. So now you got to kind of figure out where the track is, which is kind of hard to do. And then once you figure out where the track is and get that all lined up, then it should be okay. There we go. So now it's all good, and I can put it back on the wheel. And hopefully when it rolls, it won't have that problem. Oh, see, yes it does though. So apparently what I need to do is it's coming, it's like rising up and getting caught. See that? So what I might need to do is I think we need to switch the sides. Okay, yeah, you'll want them to go that way. So I guess be observant as to which way you're putting the Ninja Stars on. So you want them to circle with the way the wheel is going. Anyway, off that side tangent, back to the details, we get the nice vents here up to the front, which looked really cool on the back, and now they look extra cool here on the front, and not really much else is going on here. The valve, the gas valve is up here. He's got some 5mm ports there, and obviously these were here in robot mode. You kind of saw, I didn't really point them out, but they are here on vehicle mode too. You can use them if you want to put in any extra weapons. Anything that's 5mm port will fit there, obviously, so if you want to give him a little bit of extra weaponry, you can do that. And of course the light bar comes together here at the back. Hands folded up form a little vent at the back, which is really, really nice. And yeah, I mean, he is a neat little bike. He does have his problems. I mean, he looks like he's squished up and there's a little bit of gappage, but for the most part, I really like the bike. And that is pretty evocative of how the original one transforms. So let's see, shall we? Here they are, the animated Prowl Bike Brothers. His kickstand goes down way low. You can really see, oh, this is going to be fun. You can really see sort of the similarities and differences between these two here. Of course, I love this original one so much. It's so much fun. It's such a good looking bike, but you can see how a lot of those details are kind of kept up. Obviously, the beige hides a lot more on this original one, whereas this one, it is a little bit more exposed, so that could be, a downside for some people. I don't mind it all too much. I think it looks really nice. Obviously, this is a more stylized bike, and this is trying to be sort of a more realistic sort of like highway patrol, like CHP bike, and I quite like it. I do enjoy it, and I like both of them very, very much. Here's Prowl with our other legacy bike, RC, with animated lockdown now in his muscle car mode. Oh my gosh, Prowl! And here he is with our guy, Optimus Prime. All right, that's going to do it for my closer look here at Legacy Animated Prowl. Let's go ahead and cruise on back up to me for my final thoughts. So what are my final thoughts on Legacy Animated Prowl here? Well, if you couldn't tell throughout the review, I absolutely love this guy. He is a whole lot of fun, and as someone who is a huge animated fan, I'm just so happy to see some sort of animated representation back up on the shelves. And yes, he doesn't have the exact proportions and art style of Derek J. Wyatt's original designs, but he keeps a lot of those design elements and honors that design very, very well in this figure. He puts out a fantastic robot mode with really great articulation. He puts out a pretty solid vehicle mode, a really nice looking bike, and his only real downside is just these should have gone through another design phase and redone how they sort of fold out. That's really my biggest issue with this guy. Otherwise, he is a solid like 9 out of 10. I freaking love this guy. If you are an animated fan, you are definitely going to want to make sure you pick this guy up. And even if you're not an animated fan, I think he's a pretty decent generation-style bike cop robot. Alright guys, that is going to do it for my full review of Transformers Legacy Evolution Animated Universe Prowl. Go ahead and let me know your thoughts on this figure down below and tell me what other animated characters you would like to see in Legacy. Personally, I'd love to see a new version of Blur and Lockdown, Optimus Prime, and hell, even Megatron. I want the whole lineup, to be honest. But go ahead and let me know that down below, guys. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you very much. I do really, truly appreciate it. It means a lot to me whenever you guys make it to the end and engage and interact. So, without further ado, thank you guys for watching. I have been your host, deceptibot9, and I'll see you guys later.